this morning. I am on my way to the U.S.S. Alabama Battleship Memorial Park. We are going to get to receive an exclusive look at the Battleship. I am meeting with a museum curator this morning, and I think this one's going to be a lot of fun. You enter the park through the aviation pavilion and follow the blue barriers to the ticket counter. There's already a lot to see when you walk in, and the ticket pricing is clearly displayed in a few places.
I have Miss Williams here that's supposed to meet with you. All right, thank you. She's going to come down.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. I was kindly paired up with Mr. Matt McClooney, who is an associate curator. He gave me the grand tour and was very knowledgeable. After exiting the aviation pavilion, you'll see a gangway going up to the Battleship. That's how you'll get on board. Turning left off the gangway, you'll come to the entrance to the inside of the Battleship. This is where we started the tour. You're probably up and down those stairs all day, huh?
Well, less since I took on this aspect of the job. Go ahead and go through those double doors.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay. What is this back here?
This is the machine shop.
Oh, okay. Is this normally like...
You okay going down a little more?
Yeah, we can.
Be careful because this one's steep.
Okay. What is this area down here?
This is the end of Broadway.
Okay.
So this connects turret 3 to the other 2 turrets, and it runs all the way to the end. About half of it's not on tour.
Okay.
And the other half is where you come down and you are going to CIC, Central Station, Damage Control Central, and then you walk out, and that's where you can kind of go into turret 2. And then around to sick bay. So all that's on tours, but half of it's not on tour, which is the longest, straightest shot on the ship. The rooms down each side are your 5-inch magazines, your 5-inch handling rooms, and your engine rooms.
Oh, wow.
So.
Okay. Neat. I love it. What would you say is the significance behind preserving the ship?
It is everything from showing how a sailor used to live. Honoring the veterans' memories is huge here at Battleship Memorial Park. That's why we're here. And we honor the memories of every U.S. service member from every conflict.
Why do you think so many people enjoy visiting the Battleship?
I do think that the feelings of nostalgia are a big deal, you know. Everyone kind of has at least one old black and white movie they like, you know. Most importantly, it is the fact that here at Battleship Memorial Park, we honor veterans from every war, all U.S. veterans. No matter who you know, be it a family member, a neighbor, you know a veteran, and someone can relate to something here at the park.
As we were headed down to one of the ship's biggest highlights, Matt was explaining how they made it more immersive for the public to experience.
And then my co-worker Dave and myself decided we needed to put some sound down there, much like we have sound in the galley. And Dave mixed up some sounds and
Made it sound like an engine room?
Yeah, which is not easy because, you know, nobody's fired up the boilers on a battleship since 1992.
There are a lot of neat exhibits on the ship to see as you walk down to this area as well.
That's the motion picture locker.
Probably would have been where I worked, honestly. So the motion picture locker, they would show the sailors like movies and stuff?
Well, that was the storage area for everything, and then they would take it up on the fantail on the back of the ship.
Oh, okay.
And they'd set up a screen and speakers, and then you could go up there and watch movies.
Okay. That must have been a nice little break.
Anything to get some normalcy, because this is a berthing space.
Yeah.
And so these lockers came out to here. So you had a whole other row of lockers. And then down each side you had racks.
Oh, so this...
And they were stacked 5 high.
So they slept in here?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And if you look right in there, if you look in there to your right, you can see kind of how stacked on top of each other they were.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they would have been crammed in there.
So, you know, and a lot of these guys, you know, they grew up on a farm in Iowa or something. And so they went from, you get up at the crack of dawn and then you work all day and then, you know, you have dinner and you go to bed before the sun, you know, when the sun goes down, to, you might still have the same schedule, but now you were doing that and you were with 100 other guys.
Yeah, 50 other guys in the
Zero privacy.
same space, yeah. What did they use this yellow thing for? Transporting stuff?
So remember I was talking about Broadway?
Yeah.
This is the rest of Broadway.
Okay.
So one of the functions is you have this rail and it connects the 3 turrets.
Right.
So if you have a turret that's knocked out,
Right.
and then you need ammunition on another turret, you can move the ammunition between the turrets using this. Keeping in mind that the ammunition, each powder bag is 90 pounds, and each projectile, the small projectiles are 1,900 pounds, the big ones are 2,700. So you had to use this and a big hoist.
Oh, wow.
Watch your head.
Of course.
So I can kind of explain how the power plant works if you want.
Sure.
All right, you have boiler 1, boiler 2. What you're doing is you're combining water that has gone through the evaporator with your fuel oil. So you're bringing in your water and you're firing off your fuel oil, which goes through atomizers. Now, fuel oil is thick and sticky. If you ever see footage from World War II where guys are coming out of the water and it looks like they're covered in tar, that's fuel oil. You push it through an atomizer and then you ignite it, where you boil your water. You then produce steam up to about 600 degrees, and it moves this way. Now your steam moves through these 2 pieces of equipment. These are steam generators. This is how the ship gets electrical energy. There are 4 engine rooms on the Alabama, with 2 boilers and 2 turbines per. Each one powers one of the props. The ship has 4 props. So after the steam runs through these generators, it runs through the low pressure and then the high pressure steam turbine. Out aft here, this shaft transfers power to your reduction gear. Your reduction gear takes that high volume or that high spin rate of your turbines, reduces it down, and sends it out to the prop shaft, which goes out through the back of the ship and attaches to your props and motivates the ship. Each engine room is 3 decks or 3 stories tall.
Oh, wow, okay.
So we are not the lowest in the ship you can go. We are in the middle of the engine room. There's a deck below us and a deck above us.
Okay.
We're on what you call first platform. The deck above us is 3rd deck. And first platform, 2nd platform. And I think we start going into inner bottom. So there's levels below this, but it's more for keeping fuel. But we are lower in the ship. And there are 2 kinds of gun systems on a battleship. You have your turrets and you have your mounts. Now, turret sits in the armored barbette. The turret itself has levels. We'll talk about that later. A mount is mounted directly to the deck, like this 5-inch gun. So the deck is here, and you can take this whole mount off the deck. The room we are standing in now is the lower handling room. Behind us, we have these chutes, and these are ammunition elevators. The elevators themselves are armored with 2-inch steel, because the last thing you want to happen is on their way to the upper handling room, you don't want a shell or something to come in and ignite this and chain reaction down and ignite your magazine. That's what happened to the U.S.S. Arizona. It essentially broke her in 2. A magazine explosion, a magazine detonation could cause a chain reaction to other magazines and would be the end of the ship and the crew. To also combat that, the powder charges are contained within a aluminum canister as they make their way up. And then on top of that, the powder charge itself is brass, of course. But the reason they ride up in this aluminum canister is to protect the primer, because you don't want that primer strike to accidentally happen on its trip up. The projectiles for the 5-inch ammunition were kept in these kind of racks that would have filled this room. Now the racks have been removed in the past to make room for people to be able to walk in here and see what's going on. But you can see these projectiles here, through here. Each one of these weighs about 55 pounds. They go up or down a pound or two depending on their job. Armor piercing versus anti-aircraft versus high explosive. So there were different kinds of projectiles. So this is damage control central. This is where if there was damage to the ship, everything was handled from here.
Oh, really?
Down here is where you fire the guns.
Okay. Let's go down there. Oh, do I get to go in? Oh, man. Okay, that's exciting.
So this is where you fire your main battery. This is the room that finds your targets and lets you engage them. This is your Mark 13 targeting computer. So all the main battery on Battleship Alabama is radar directed.
Okay.
You can also do local control. You can fire things manually, but mostly it's all radar directed. And that feeds into this machine, which is your Mark 8 Rangekeeper. And you're gonna, now mind you, it took about 6 weeks to even get familiar with this piece of equipment. You know, you have hundreds, thousands of times the computing power on your cell phone than what this piece of equipment has. But this allowed you to shoot as far as 23 miles.
Really?
We're advancing our range correction, deflection correction. So this is find your target. This is your Rangekeeper, so this basically allows you to put your rounds on target.
What is this over here?
This is the same thing.
Oh, okay.
So there's two sets.
There's two of them. I got you. Okay.
This is your Mark 38 stable vertical. This is how you actually fire the guns. And on the back side here, there are 3 pistol grips, and that's actually how you fire the main battery.
Oh, I see that. Okay.
It's literally a pistol grip. And the way this works, there's a gyro. You can see there's a gyro in here. But it's not doing what a modern gun system on, say, an Abrams tank does, where it levels the guns and keeps the guns stable. What it's doing is it's not going to allow those guns to fire until you reach that same point. So if the ship's in heavy seas or anything like that, as the ship's rolling or rocking, it's locked in to where it wants to fire. And as you come up to that position, it'll let you fire.
Oh, okay.
And mind you, the 16-inch guns, which is the main battery, 16-inch 45 caliber, you're firing 2 rounds a minute per barrel, 9 barrels, so 18 rounds every minute.
Oh, wow.
There we go. So this is secondary plot, adjacent to primary. This is the same kind of system, it's just more condensed. But now you can get a better look at those pistol grips on how you do the firing key.
Oh,
so you'll see that this is the signal key, which lets people know you're going to fire, automatic firing key, and your hand firing key. But those 5-inch guns we were just talking about, this is the room where you fire them.
Okay.
But this room came out really nice.
It did. Did they just paint in here? Nice.
And actually, all this brass you see, all that was painted over. So the maintenance department came in here and chipped all the paint up off the brass.
Well, the brass is beautiful.
It's the tertiary steering station. So mind you, everything we've seen is below the armor deck, below the turrets, in the center of the ship. We're inside turret 2 right now. So remember I said the turret sits inside an armored tube, essentially called a barbette. And that several decks are attached directly to the turret, which is why it's a turret and not a mount.
Okay.
So our armored barbette is out here. This is armored barbette. Once we've reached this ring, we are now part of the turret.
Okay.
And if you look up, you can actually see to the next deck because it's not connected here.
Oh, you sure can. Look at that.
And so what happens is, around the outside here, you can see we have projectiles, and then around the interior here, we have projectiles.
Right.
And we have 3 decks of this. So these are your Mark 13 high-capacity projectiles. These are the little ones. These are 1,900 pounds.
Oh my God.
These have a range of 23 miles from this ship. These projectiles over here are the Mark 8s. These are 2,700 pounds. These are the big ones, and they have a range of about 21 miles. But what this middle ring is for is this swings independent. So this stays with the ship out here. This moves independent, and this interior ring stays with the turret. So what you're doing is you can move this independent, and we have what we call par bucklers here in the deck, and these spin, they rotate. And so what you would do is you put a rope around those, and you put a rope around the base of one of these projectiles, and this deck would be greased,
Okay.
but real safe. And when that spins, it starts pulling on this rope, and you can take the top of this and you spin it, and you can move it where you need it, and you can use these par bucklers, and you're basically getting your ammunition to your elevator.
Oh, okay.
And there's 3 elevators on this deck
So that's what sends it up to
that bring it up to the main turret.
Okay. So all of this is sick bay?
So sick bay, we're walking past all those offices, we're all sick bay.
Okay.
Doctor's office and everything. This is sick bay main, so if you were injured or sick, depending on what you were sick with, you were in here. And we have a full operating room over here. Now mind you, battleships and carriers were the only ships that had a full sick bay.
Oh, really?
Where they could do operations and everything. Radio Central. So the battleship did more listening than broadcasting.
Okay.
Because if you broadcast, then other people can hear you, which is what we were trying to do. And so we knew that's what the enemy would try to do to us.
Right.
So we're really just listening mostly. So these are the 20 millimeters. This is the smallest gun Battleship Alabama used. And these are the only guns on the ship that are not remote fired.
Oh, really? So these are manual fired?
These are manual. You had a guy whose job it was to stand back here. This is your trigger.
Right.
And he was strapped in. So there's shoulder stocks that go right here for your shoulder. And you would have had a belt. So you're holding on here, and you put your feet down on these. Now, these are not the original mounts for Battleship Alabama. She had different mounts, but the idea is the same.
Right.
You move it around with your body weight. So you're stuck in there. And these mounts are not movable right now, but you could roll this thing all the way up, and that kind of puts you in a position down here to fire. Your 5-inch guns, like this is the mount for the 5-inch guns. So these are dual purpose. So these can engage surface targets and aerial targets.
Oh, okay.
So earlier I was talking about the different kind of ammunition. You can have armor piercing or high explosives that you would hit when you're doing shore bombardment or you're shooting another ship, or you can have anti-aircraft that do air bursts. That are like flak bursts. So you could do both. These are called a dual purpose gun. So these are your 40 millimeter Bofors. These go out to about twice the range of your 20 millimeters. So over here, you have a pointer and trainer on each side. In the center and on either side, you have loaders.
Okay.
And your loaders are feeding ammunition into here. There were racks all around the inside of these tubs, and they held your clips. And there was a clip of 4 rounds, and they hand those up to these guys, and then they load them. So your pointer and your trainer didn't do anything most of the time. Well, why not? That's because these guns are remote controlled. This is your gun director in place. And this, incidentally, is also the gun mount that Hall of Fame pitcher Bob Feller used from the Cleveland Indians.
Oh, really?
Yes. He was the first pro athlete to join the service after Pearl Harbor. And he spent his time on Battleship Alabama. But this gun director, you're going to look through here, and inside here is going to be a glowing reticle, which is basically a round circle with another round circle, they're red, in the center that is projected onto that eyepiece. And what this does, this is your Mark 14 gun sight. Now what this does is it automatically calculates your lead. So if you're shooting at a target that's moving this way, you have to shoot in front of it to get him to run into those bullets.
Yeah.
This device automatically calculates your lead. So you put that reticle, you put that pipper directly on the aircraft you want to shoot, and this calculates all the lead, and it transfers it over to the gun mount, and you have your trigger down here. So you fire that whole mount from over here. So when you point this in a direction, it's going over here to your guns. Now, if your gun director gets knocked out, what do you do? Battleships are about redundancies, because the whole goal of a battleship is to be able to deliver a lot of damage, right?
Right.
Well, the problem is, if you can deliver your damage, you can get damage. The whole idea is to grab the bad guy by the belt buckle and hit him.
Yeah.
Well, if you can do that, he can hit you.
Right.
So what happens if you get something knocked out like your gun director? You can come over here. If you look here, this is actually a joystick.
Oh, okay.
And from this seat, this individual can move the whole mount. Okay? What happens if this goes out? Your electric motors go out, your power goes out. We don't have it on here right now, but there's a handle. It's a big crank handle, like this. And so one side handles your training, your traverse, and then one side handles your elevation. Now this is not an ideal way to do it, because aircraft at the time, we don't consider them fast, but 300 miles per hour is pretty fast if you're trying to track it. Even if you had no power, you could manually move this mount to engage enemy targets.
So they had a lot of fail-safes in place, is what it sounds like.
Absolutely. The same way with the 5-inch guns and the 16-inch guns, one of the reasons the firing system is so far deep in the ship is so you can still fight. But even if that gets knocked out, if you lose your power, you can manually, from the gun mounts themselves, fire the guns. Here is the whole purpose of a battleship. Your main battery. Well, let me explain. 16-inch 45 caliber, 60-foot long gun, 96 tons, recoils 4 feet, 1,400-ton mount. What does 45 caliber mean? So 16 inches your bore. That's how big around it is, 16 inches. Caliber refers to the length of the barrel. So it is 45 calibers long. So you take 16, multiply it by 45, and that is the length of your barrel, which is 60 feet, roughly. Each barrel weighs 96 tons and recoils 4 feet every time it's fired.
Oh my gosh.
The turret itself weighs 1,400 tons. If you look at the front of the turret, we talk about armor. This is our sloped face armor. This is 18 inches thick.
Is it
steel.
really?
The roof of the turret is 9 inches thick. So battleships are what I like to say, they're fun with numbers.
That is a lot of numbers, yeah.
The barbette, you can see the top of the barbette. Remember I was talking about it slides into the barbette?
Yeah.
This is the armored tube the turret sits in. That is 16 inches thick. Part of getting the battleship, right? You're getting the main battery, you're getting your artillery as close as you can to the enemy, you're getting them where you can go, right?
Right.
So you're thinking, okay, we got to put fuel on the ship. It's 1,500 nautical miles, roughly 2 million gallons of fuel. You know, she can sustain, 28.5 knots, 29 knots max. That's great. But what causes that, right? It's the 2,500 man crew. You have 2,500 men that run this ship. Well, what do they need? They need to go to the ship store because they need toiletries, right? So you get aftershave, you get shaving cream, you can get treats, you can get razors, cigarettes, anything the guys would have wanted or needed.
Butterfinger.
What might the guys like? We were talking about, well, you want to make it feel like home, right?
Right.
So we have the Gidunk. This is where you got ice cream. But the guys could come here and they could get a soda or they could get ice cream. And this made it feel a little more home. And you made the ice cream right here on the ship. You'd use milk, or once you were out for a while, you would use powdered milk. And the guys said it made the ice cream a little gritty, but it didn't stop them from eating it.
Right. Wouldn't stop me either, probably.
And you have this syrup, so you could maybe get a little chocolate syrup on it, but mostly the syrups are for making your sodas.
Right.
The ship was commissioned in August of 1942. So we're coming off the Great Depression in America. For some of the sailors, the best meal they had in their entire lives was their first day in the Navy, because they were coming off the Great Depression. You might live on maybe some bread and what you could grow in a garden maybe, or what you could barter for. It was a different time, and then for a lot of these guys, so they come in and now there's fresh fruit and meat and milk and all this stuff they didn't have access to before. So for a lot of guys, this was a godsend to be able to come in here and have this kind of meal. They didn't have access, a lot of them, to medical. They'd never seen a doctor or a dentist. So when they come into the Navy, they get their teeth worked on for the first time. They have hearing tests. There's an ENT that they could see. So there was an aspect to it where this was very beneficial for a lot of the guys that came in.
Matt introduced me to Chip, who's a volunteer at the Battleship Memorial Park. He had a funny story about what happens to the naughty sailors and where they end up on the ship.
So what do you want to hear, the smuggling story or what?
Well,
I've got a story that one of the guys told us about smuggling whiskey aboard the ship.
okay.
And he got caught. So what it was, he told us that he and a buddy of his had been ashore on Liberty. They'd been imbibing a little too much. On the way back to the ship, this guy decided to bring a bottle of whiskey with him. That was a bad decision, but he decided to buy him some whiskey. So he went and bought him a pint of whiskey. He tucked it down in his waistband, and then he straightened his jumper, and he squared up his cover and reported back aboard ship. So right away, the officer of the deck knew he looked suspicious. So he called for the master at arms to frisk the man. Aye, aye, sir. So he come out with a nightstick, and he was up and down, up, down. And then he went tink, tink, tink. So what have we here, lad? And he drew that nightstick back and hit that bottle of whiskey and broke it. Now here's the guy standing on deck with this broken glass and whiskey running down his behind.
Oh no.
And he knew he was in trouble. So the officer of the deck put him on report. And when your name goes on report, you have to see the captain for disciplinary action. They call it captain's mast.
Yeah.
Okay, now captain's mast is a term that came from the days of sailing ships. The captain would stand on the navigation deck by the mast, and at the railing, the boatswain would bring up the sailors and tell the charges against the sailor, and the captain would give out punishment. Well, in the days of sailing ships, that was usually a taste of the cat. That's a flogging with a whip.
Ooh.
Called a cat o' nine tails. Had 9 leather straps on it, and they would flog the guy. Well, they didn't flog guys by World War II.
Right.
But they did put them in the brig on bread and water. So this guy told me he was sentenced to a week on bread and water. They put him in the tent brig. Every morning they brought him a loaf of bread and a pitcher of water. And he said he smoked Raleigh cigarettes, so he bought a pack of cigarettes for a nickel. And he spent his off-duty time in the temporary brig. Now his on-duty time, his 4-hour daily watch in the morning and the evening, he still had to work. So he didn't get off of work, he just had to spend his off-duty time in the brig. The worst part of the whole thing, he said, was when he had to go, because they made him go in a bucket. And he fouled his slop bucket then before he went on duty. Now they take him down to the brig so they can wash out his slop bucket and bring it back up here for the next time. He said it was bad enough smelling all that good food cooking over here in the galley.
Oh, that's terrible.
But yeah, he said that cured him of smuggling whiskey.
I bet.
One time only.
Well, thank you. Before you leave the ship, you can pay your respects to all the veterans that served on the U.S.S. Alabama by visiting the memorial wall. The tour with Matt and everything I've featured so far only covers a portion of the incredible history at the U.S.S. Alabama. There is so much to see here. You can also visit the U.S.S. Drum, which is a preserved submarine that also served in the war. On your way out, you can stop by Stevie's Kitchen for a bite to eat, or visit the gift shop for an item to commemorate your visit. And you can walk all over the property and see different military and wartime vehicles. Well, thank you so much, Matt, for giving me this exclusive tour of the ship.
Oh, you're welcome.
that is a wrap on the U.S.S. Alabama. Thank you so much to Ms. Genevieve Harris and the Associate Curator Matt for allowing me to come out and do this tour. I had an amazing time. There's so much to see and do out here, so I hope I get to come back and show you more. Until next time on Tides and Towns.